The bridge built with kindness, a motivational and heartwarming story nestled between rolling hills and ancient trees, lay a quiet countryside village in England. It was split into two parts, Eastbridge and Westbridge, separated by a river. But the river wasn't just water flowing between lands. It had become a symbol of broken trust, forgotten friendships, and unresolved conflicts. For decades, the people of Eastbridge and Westbridge had grown distant. Families stopped speaking. Children grew up not knowing their cousins across the water. What once had been a united community now lived as strangers, divided not by geography, but by pride and silence. The heart that never gave up among the villagers was an old man named Mr. Thomas, a retired carpenter in his 70s. His eyes had grown dim, but his vision for peace remained sharp. Every morning, he sat by his window and watched the river, not just the water, but the gap between the children on both sides. Some played freely, while others stood watching, unsure if they belonged. Years ago, when Thomas was young, a wooden bridge stood proudly across that very river. He had helped build it with his own hands. It wasn't just a bridge, it was where friendships began, where he met his late wife who was from the other side, and where the community celebrated together. But one bitter conflict decades ago had torn the bridge, and the people, apart. Still, Thomas held on to one belief: most hatred is just a misunderstanding that kindness can fix. One man's quiet mission. One sunny morning in spring, Thomas gathered his tools, an old hammer, some nails, and a few wooden planks from his shed. Without announcement, he walked down to the riverbank and began to work. People stared. Some chuckled, others whispered, "What's the old man doing now? He'll hurt himself." But Thomas didn't argue or explain. He simply worked, one plank, one nail at a time. With each strike of his hammer, he whispered quietly, "This plank will carry kindness. This nail will hold hearts together again." Days turned into weeks. Curious children began to watch. A few brave ones offered to pass tools. Mothers scolded them at first, but over time, something began to shift. The laughter of children grew louder, and people who hadn't spoken in years started greeting one another. A bridge for more than crossing. One day, a young boy named Lucas, from Westbridge, dropped his toy near the edge of the river. The bridge wasn't finished yet, but his curiosity and trust in Mr. Thomas's work led him across the half-built path. From the other side, Oliver, a boy from Eastbridge, helped him up. The two boys laughed, shook hands, and played together. That simple act of friendship, a child's innocence, melted years of bitterness. It was no longer about bridges of wood, but about bridges of understanding. From wood to warmth. A month later, the bridge was complete. The first to walk across it were Lucas's mother and Oliver's grandmother, two women who had once been close friends but hadn't spoken in decades. They met in the middle of the bridge and, with tears in their eyes, embraced. That single hug became the spark of something greater. Neighbors began inviting each other for tea. Farmers from both sides shared tools. Children from both villages walked to school hand in hand. The real bridge was in the heart. One afternoon, Thomas sat in his chair by the riverbank, watching the children play on the bridge he built. Lucas and Oliver approached him. "Mr. Thomas," Lucas said, "how did you build such a strong bridge?" Thomas smiled and replied, "I didn't build it with wood and nails. I built it with hope, forgiveness, and kindness." The legacy of kindness today: people from across the country visit the Kindness Bridge, not to marvel at the woodwork, but to feel the spirit it carries. Because in the end, the strongest bridges aren't made by hands alone, they are made by hearts willing to forgive and believe again.